Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Wilgus. Thank you for joining us. Some residents who live on Siesta Key are questioning a recent discharge from a wastewater treatment facility.
It happened about a month ago when Hurricane Hermine passed by the Sun Coast. ABC 7's Rick Adams joins us live now from Siesta Key with more on the story tonight. Rick?
Yeah, guys, this is the wastewater facility that we're talking about. Some of the residents here remain very concerned about the quality of the water nearby. It's an issue that has people talking on Siesta Key. More than 3 million gallons of partially treated wastewater was discharged into the Siesta Key Grand Canal when Tropical Storm Hermine hit about a month ago. Jane Watt's home is a few blocks away from the wastewater treatment facility. Although she recently moved into her home, she's not overly concerned with what happened.
We feel that we're far enough downstream that it doesn't affect us, but it is a concern since it is waste going into our water.
Sarasota County officials say this controlled spill was done when the plant had reached full capacity as a result of the record rainfall. Otherwise, this could have caused raw sewage to spill out, making it a disastrous situation. Bob Stout lives on the canal on Commonwealth Place. He tells us there should be other ways to handle excess rain.
A very unfortunate occurrence, and perhaps in the future we should make provision for overflow to handle it better than that.
Experts say for folks who live near the Siesta Grand Canal or use the canal, they should not be concerned with the quality of this water, even as red tide continues to affect the Gulf and Sarasota Bay.
The red tide bloom is very unlikely associated with any kind of sewage dumps at all.
For folks here, they say this wastewater treatment facility has made its presence known even when it's not storming.
If you actually ride your bike down the street near there, there's kind of, depending on the time of day and which way the wind is blowing, there's an odor.
And this plant was scheduled to close sometime this year, but now we're being told it'll close sometime late next year. Reporting live from Siesta Key, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
Thank you, Rick. The Department of Environmental Protection has determined the city of Northport's water is not contaminated. This comes after a major fuel spill took place on I-75, killing the driver. A cleanup crew was brought in to clean up the fuel spill. What we learned yesterday that they did not get all of the fuel. Some has leaked into the creek surrounding the water treatment facility following heavy rains over the weekend. The plant was shut down and the water is now coming from other sources. Samples taken by the Department of Environmental Protection show no sign of contamination.
We did have a couple heavy rainstorms between Friday night and Monday. So what happened is the swale system along I-75 where the oil was contained had breached come Monday morning.
The city of Northport's water supply will come from other sources at the Peace River until officials are certain the spill has been cleaned.
Congress overrides a veto by President Obama, the first of his presidency. The House and Senate voting today to override the veto and allow the families of September 11th victims to sue Saudi Arabia for the kingdom's alleged backing of the attackers. The lawsuit legislation now becomes law despite elements that the president and top Pentagon officials warned could put U.S. troops and interests at risk. It could also trigger lawsuits from people in other countries opposed to U.S. policies and military actions, but proponents say the bill is tailored and only applies to acts of terrorism on U.S. soil. The Senate passing a bill to provide more than $1 billion in funding to battle the Zika virus. The fight for federal funding to battle that virus has taken months. The hybrid spending measure is the last major item on Capitol Hill's pre-election agenda. It also includes $500 million in rebuilding assistance for the flooding areas of Louisiana and additional funding to help Flint, Michigan's water crisis. The House is expected to approve the measure and send it on to President Obama for his signature.
And now for a check on our forecast and to see what's brewing in the tropics, let's head over to Bob.
Well, here we have the 13th named storm of the season. This is Matthew, and I tell you, it's already stronger than 6 of the storms this year thus far, and it's got a long way to go. It is now hammering parts of the Windward Islands right now. You can see Barbados right there getting some heavy rainfall and also some gusty winds. It's continuing to move off toward the west now. And as far as the forecast models go, they're all in agreement over the next couple of days toward the west. And then by Friday, you'll notice that some take a direct move toward the north, and it looks like Jamaica is right in the middle of that cluster, unfortunately. Good news is that a lot of the models take it east of Florida. The bad news is that there's still some outliers here that continue to move on a west-northwesterly course, which would put us in trouble here. So we'll have to keep an eye on that very closely. The latest on it, 60-mile-an-hour winds. It's moving to the west at 18. Pressure is fairly high at 1,008 millibars, and it's expected to take a little dip and then gain hurricane status on Friday and then eventually become a Category 2 storm right there near Jamaica. But it could be anywhere within inside this cone over the next 5 days, and there's a lot of uncertainty. More on our forecast coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. A Florida appeals court has ruled a Sarasota high school student's tweet is not considered a criminal threat. A 3-judge panel overturned the juvenile delinquency ruling following a tweet in 2014 that read, "Can't wait to shoot up my school." The student's tweets were found by a company formed to watch social media for threats of school violence, and the company notified officials at Sarasota High. The appeals court ruled that the tweet is not a criminal threat, but also suggested that the legislature might want to look into updating the state's law against violent threats to account for the growing use of social media.
Manatee County students will have to make up school days missed during Hurricane Hermine. The school board approving several calendar changes today. Students will attend school for a full day on both October 5th and December 7th instead of having early release days. And winter break will start one day later on Friday, December 23rd. Students will have to attend classes on the Thursday before the 22nd of December. Manatee County School Superintendent says these changes are the best way to use students' time productively.
The Ringling Museum has $120,000 for storage equipment thanks to a recent grant. The Institute of Museum and Library Sciences has chosen the Ringling as a recipient of its competitive Museums for America grant program. The grant will allow the museum to purchase 36 custom painting storage screens in the vault and conservation lab.
This project allows us not only to reunite the entire painting collection in one building in a very good facility, but it enables us to document them, upgrade our database with photographs and other information on the history of the works, and then that will eventually be made more accessible to the general public.
The majority of the paintings are being held off of museum property and were created prior to 1800. Some are believed to be copies of works by known masters and require further study and conservation.
In the bellows of the Ringling Museum. That's pretty cool.
What must be down there? Yeah.
Still to come on your Suncoast News, one of Sarasota's most popular spots is merging with a company in Dallas. There may be some changes to come, but Marina Jack's staff employment is not one of them.
And those caught skimming credit card information at gas pumps will see harsher penalties. Why you should avoid taking the risk when we come back.
Today's Hooters word of the day is owl. Register today's word by midnight at mysuncoast.com, and you and 3 friends could be headed to a Bucks game in style. If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, dining segments, local events, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 specialty programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on your streaming device and download your free ABC7 app now.
Hurricane season is here, so when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology.
And focus on the Suncoast.
The official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you. Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2016 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Complimentary maintenance included. At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Are you one of the millions of Americans suffering from chronic knee pain? Have you been told knee replacement surgery is your only option? Then call now